Hi, guys. This is Vinny Chopra back again with the great, exciting show for you today. Remember, this is the Apartment Syndication Made Easy show, which is the sequel to the book I wrote. A lot of people have given 5-star reviews. If you haven't picked it up yet, go ahead and go to apartmentsyndicationmadeeasy.com. What? It's so easy. Apartmentsyndicationmadeeasy.com. Get your book free. Actually, I give it to free, digital copy as well as the audio copy. But if you want to pick up a physical copy, you have to go to Amazon Kindle, audio, audible.com and all that. So, and then again, my second book, oh my gosh, the positivity brings profitability. And my third book is almost coming, which is the senior living investing. As you all know, I'm really big in senior living anyway. But thank you for joining, giving 5-star reviews. And I'd really appreciate that. My team is putting together a little raffle contest where we'll be giving away $1,000, in different things for giving 5-star reviews and raffling and all that. And so thank you. Hey, we got great friend, Johnny Linham is in the house. And Johnny, how are you, brother?
Doing good, Vinny. Glad to be here with you, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. And see, Johnny's going to drop great nuggets. We're finding the off-market deals. We are talking about that, creating financing and the deal structuring, which is a big part of the 2023. If you are into, buying these commercial buildings and investing while in the military, that's what, hey, I pay respect to you, brother. That's very nice to be able to do that for the country. And that's so great. And then raising private capital, which is the backbone of the business of going big, raising money, raising capital and building virtual teams. I love that because, we can multiply ourselves by having a lot of virtual teams. Everybody works remotely now. So Johnny, you were, Lieutenant Colonel in the United States Army, Air Force? Air Force. Yeah. Tell me more about it. Let's tell the audience about you and how you got into this and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm glad to be here. So my story, I grew up in Lower Alabama, not the LA on the West Coast, but the LA, Lower Alabama, and just humble beginnings. My dad was a pastor. My mom, she was a phlebotomist, worked in the lab at the local hospital, and just grew up humble beginnings and went to the University of Alabama, had a Air Force scholarship. And so going through, I knew that I had the option of going into the military after college. And so I got my electrical engineering degree and joined over the Air Force. And now, 17 and a half years later, it's been a phenomenal career. I couldn't ask for, the jobs and just the opportunities that I was presented with the military, but also along the way, was able to marry my beautiful wife, Melissa, and we had 3 wonderful children. And we started real estate investing along the way as well, too.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And you live very close to where I went to school at, George Washington University, there outside Washington, D.C. I lived in Gaithersburg, Maryland, fond memories of the Potomac River and Arlington and everything, and just those bridges and everything. So that's great. So let's get back into, with this things changing now in 2023. So what is your take on it and how you're looking into, doing, picking up things and in multifamily? Is that your niche or are you into other things also?
Kind of a couple different niches, if you will. Definitely multifamily. We picked up a total of 76 units last year, and we got 20 under contract, all in Montgomery, Alabama, in that area. And but I have a single family renovation business that's based out of Panama City. And we also buy other smaller assets across Alabama. But really for 2023, it's really just, getting back to the basics, bringing down our renovation numbers and understanding, okay, where's lumber at, where are the materials cost at, reassessing, because things just kind of got out of whack, out of balance the last couple of years. So we're looking at our renovation budgets and the cost of materials and kind of doing a bottom-up analysis there. But then also really looking at cap rates across the board, and just really understanding all those variables that go into a deal, to just making sure, how do we feel comfortable with the numbers, making sure we're being conservative, and making sure that we're taking into account the higher interest rate environment. And it's really to the point now, right now, I think these first 6 months of 2023, that we're only looking to do great deals.
Excellent. Very nice. And, again, getting great deals or putting more money on the down payments and all brings about raising money. So
yes.
Now, is your partner in Montgomery, Alabama? Because you are near Washington, D.C. So it's good to have partners in certain markets which are evolving, which are thriving. And I know Huntsville, Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, they're doing good. Yeah.
Yes. So definitely, I have a partner on the ground, boots on the ground. My partner there, Reggie, who we met last year, and he went through my coaching program. We done a couple single family deals. He picked up a rental, kind of helped him with that process. A couple fix and flips in the Birmingham area. And then he started going through the process of learning. And I was teaching through my program about multifamily, about my first apartment building. And so he's like, hey, this really looks like the same. I'm like, it is the same. You just need to start working with brokers. Let's start working an off-market lead strategy, because right now I target 40 units and below. It's kind of my niche, whereas that I can sign on the loan, I can be a key sponsor, and we can go direct to owner. So it's worked out really well for us. And he kind of represents us in the state of Alabama, and, kind of my eyes and ears, and works hand in hand our asset management strategy, working with the property managers.
Excellent. So Montgomery, Alabama, let's just kind of hone in there. I know Alabama is seeing some great growth, and are you thinking to expand over there inside, or maybe going to other Birmingham and Huntsville and other places too, or what?
Yep. So that's a great question. I think right now we are definitely looking across the major MSAs in Alabama. So Huntsville, Mobile, Birmingham, and Montgomery. For sure. And I think it's really, and I know you're a big proponent of, it's really focusing on those relationships.
Yes.
First 6 months is just really understanding the brokers that's out there, letting them know what we're buying, what we're doing, and just our vision for the company and our growth plan to kind of align going forward. And the same thing that we're doing with the local community, with the local government as well, too, and just understanding the opportunities there with all the infrastructure bill that was passed by the current President Biden, with understanding the money that they have allocated to go towards affordable housing, and just understanding what they're looking to do in those areas and how we can be a partner with them as well, too.
I love it. So, let's just dig deeper into it, if you don't mind. I know lots of my students also in my, academy, they start with small, right? I always say, hey, don't get duplex or fourplex now, go 5plex. 5 units is commercial, and that will help you in getting loans and all. But you're saying under 40, that's beautiful. Because you're not talking too high a price, and you're able to make value add work very nicely. It's not such huge, renovation, project for the early starters and things like that.
Hi, you are listening to Syndication Made Easy podcast. We will be right back after this short break.
Hi, thank you so much. This is Vinny Chopra, and thank you for subscribing to my podcast and YouTube channel and Facebook pages and all the great things, and LinkedIn. Connect with me. I come live to you every Friday at 9 Pacific with Vinny and Bo Show. Please also look at that. And also the podcast, which is my Apartment Syndication Made Easy. The book I wrote a couple of years back became international top seller on Amazon International now. And then we like to bring great guests for you every week or twice a week sometime to give you a lot of great knowledge. So please subscribe. You give us 5-star reviews on the iTunes. The better the guests we can, bring, and our ranking will go higher also. Thanks again for following us and really getting the most out of it. Please comment, like, share, because we would love to bring better and better material for you. So how did you go about it? If you want to take me back, how did you find these brokers? What's your elevator pitch, maybe, if you want to? Because our audience will learn a lot from, what you say. Yeah.
Awesome. No, and I think the brokers are a great piece of it, and being able to build those relationships. And this, the most recent deal, that one, it came from a Facebook group with a wholesaler who was shopping around a deal that they didn't even have under contract.
Oh, wow.
And, they had an OM that they were passing around. We went through, we did our kind of top of the envelope analysis real quick, back of the envelope. I'm like, okay, this has this meat, this bone has a meat on it. Let's dig a little deeper. And so when we started asking questions, we weren't getting answers. And eventually it came out, hey, yep, I don't really have this under contract. And we really were looking at the dynamics of the deal, the ownership period that the current owner had owned it. He originally was the builder, had owned it for almost 30 years. And one of the brokers that we work with in the Birmingham market was like, hey, let's hunt this person down. Let's see if they're actually interested in selling, since they're older gentleman and he had owned it for so long. And come to find out, after we eventually, sit certified mail, she got down there in Montgomery and met with him face to face. They had come to find out that he actually was interested in hearing our offer about us purchasing off market.
Oh, wow. I love it. I love it. Did you also ask for seller carryback or anything, or you just went straight route? And what did you do? Yeah.
Yep. So we did. We asked for a seller carryback for $200K. Okay. That was an interesting story all within itself, which they were fine with. They were amenable to it. And they had multiple partners. I think they had like 8 or 9 partners. And as we got closer, originally my bridge loan, the lender said, hey, yep, we're fine with having it in the second position. But as we got within 10 days of closing, it came that with the closing attorney that, hey, we're not going to be able to have the second position lien on the HUD with the closing. And so he took that as we're not doing it at all. And so it got back to the seller that, hey, they don't need the $200K anymore. And so they went back to all 9 of their partners were like, hey, yep, this is the amount that everybody's getting. We're not doing this. And when we found out, I think we were definitely within a week before closing. And so we ended up going back and forth, and we had to come up with an extra $200K at closing in order to get the deal done, just because it was a hard sale. And at that point, since the original lender wouldn't let us have it on the second, that it was a done deal at that point. So that was something that taught us last minute that, hey, you got to be ready, and having reserves and being able to do that to have that capability to still close, because things happen, as you already
things happen, brother. Oh my gosh. I mean, my early years, I can definitely see how the money just kind of dried up, I mean, even overnight, right? Things come up for investors and things like that. And they might say, hey, I really wanted to give you that 100 or something, but, I can't right now. So it's so good to really over plan. Yes. Anybody listening to us, it's so true. Go for 150% of what you really need. I know a lot of people say even 200%, but if you do it right, everybody, and sense of urgency and everything comes into it, but you got to tell, only count the money that you feel it's going to closable. In my case, I know I've been broadcasting. I get about 98% of my money. It's interesting because my investors are savvy investors now, over 14 years and all that stuff. But no, that's so good that you were able to raise 200,000 at the end. Yes. Because they could not take the second position, like you said. Yeah. So take us through then, once you take over, what are some hardships of picking up this 40 units or 30 units or whatever, right? What are some of the factors one should look into? Because stabilizing is a big thing, isn't it?
Right. Most definitely. And it ended up turning into a combination deal. Before we closed, we had the 56 units next door to it under contract too.
Okay.
Because they shared property management, and that owner got wind. He was like, hey, I want to sell as well too. And we worked it out. So we came in, and with our property management company, was like, hey, we're not bringing in just 40, but we're actually going to bring in 96 units total. Mm-hmm. And so it allowed us to come together with a really nice business plan. Both of these properties had originally been in low income tax credit program. So you had really low market rents. The 40 unit was built 92, 93. So it wasn't a terribly old asset. And the 44 of the 56 units were built in 97, 98 and were all brick.
Oh, wow.
We had another 12 unit that was built in 86 that was brick. So really nice construction, all located together on the east side of Montgomery. And so our average rent increase was about $225.
Wow.
With us putting in about $7,000 to $8,000 of capex in each unit with the turnover.
I love it. I love it. You just bringing my memories back into my Knoxville property that we bought, about a year and 3-4 months back. And we are able to increase value. And we knew that, when the occupancy is 99 to 100%, that, the rents can be, and by doing comparison studies, we knew that we could increase rent by $450, $500 in this case, and put the rubs. Were the rubs going on at that time or no?
No rubs. So the owner was paying all the water. So that's one thing that we're looking at. I was actually looking at the most recent building as we closed on them. I think we're at like $32.92 is what the average water bill is going to be per unit.
Sure. And you could charge it back,
Yes.
Same thing. I think in anybody, I think it's so good. Any syndicator like you and I, or anybody who's aspiring to really put a business plan together, tell this investors, and then act on it right away. Right away, if it's changing of demographics, increasing the rents, they will be changing, because you got to make sure that the present residents are able to afford that $300 more, but if they cannot, then definitely we need that turning around and everything, of that. Yep. So tell me more. What's your superpower in your company? What's your superpower?
Yeah, my superpower is definitely assessing deals. I think, it was by necessity with being virtual, by nature of my job, with me moving around and not being able to be in a lot of the markets where we established that we want to invest. Because we started as fix and flippers on the single family side. We did our first flip in Alexandria, Virginia, here in the DC area.
Okay, yeah.
And after that, we moved. The first purchase price was like $230,000. Then our second property we purchased for $65,000 in Birmingham. Wow. And so my wife is from there. We both went to college there in Tuscaloosa. And so we were really familiar with the area, felt comfortable. And so I would drive down 10 hours. Once we got our first project, I met with all my vendors and put the business plan together and got estimates and really leaned on my realtor as we went through that process to flip that first property. Mm-hmm. But we did that for 2 years in the Birmingham market. And I got really versed in being able to assess the deal, the zip codes, leveraging technology, whether it's Zillow, Google, with walking streets, being able to do research with the local government, the Census Bureau, understand crime and what's going on in certain areas. To the point now, as a multifamily investor, I'm able to take that same philosophy with being able to get deals, looking at the rent rolls, understanding what are the market rents in the area, potential for rent increases to really, the back of the envelope, whether you need to spend more time evaluating it or if it's nothing to it, don't waste my time. And so I think really being able to critically go through and make and assess those decisions in a short amount of time has kind of grown into a superpower over time.
So important. I know you mentioned about Panama City also. Panama City. I love Panama City there. We were just close by there actually on the Panhandle, St. George Island. We were just there in December or November, I think we were there. But one thing I wanted to ask about Alexandria, you said, right? Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm building assisted senior living from ground up in Williamsburg, Virginia. I don't know how far that is from you. Huh?
Yeah, Williamsburg is about 3 hours, right there outside.
3 hours, okay.
The Hampton Roads area.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, really proud. I'll be there actually with the grand opening ceremony in about a couple of months or so.
Okay.
But let me ask you a question, what kind of, what motivates you? What motivates you? I mean, it's a business, right? You got to look at it as a business and you want to make sure that you have drive every day and everything. So what motivates you and what maybe one or two books you are reading that had really impacted your life? Yeah.
Yep, most definitely. I think the motivation for me is just the legacy, building the legacy for my family. that, understanding that to get to that point, I have to achieve time freedom. And, one of the things that my goal this year is to start my fund of funds, to start down that road with just building wealth, whereas that I can transfer that down to my next generation. At the same time, instill those values and principles along the way, whereas that I know that they're going to be great stewards of everything that I built and left behind. So I think that's the motivation factor, along with just helping, on the coaching side. And I know that you can resonate this with just giving back to other people and just seeing other people that you can pour into and have a positive impact on their life. That's another driving factor as well, too. Great books that's kind of inspired me. The Bible, the Bible is definitely, my number one. And that's one that, just for us going through and, Ecclesiastes, Proverbs, and Psalms that just really speak to my core and kind of, just that integrity first and just the ethos that I live by, with just kind of understanding that. And a couple of books that really here most recently that has spoken to me is learning more about Steve Jobs. And his approach to business, his approach to marketing and just all of that I've really been kind of geeking out on Steve Jobs and just understanding his life and just him as an entrepreneur and business owner. I've just kind of been diving into here most recently.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. No, anything else you think, we could share some ideas with the audience? What?
Yeah, I think the big one is really is take action. I think a lot of times, the more I talk to new investors and people that, they're glamorized by the level of success that they see that you achieved, or really anybody achieved, that I think a lot of people lose sight that really just take action, that we read the books, we listen to the podcast, and we're scared to bet on ourselves, that we don't realize that we have more than enough information to get started, and then we'll figure the rest out as we start going. But we got to take that first step of faith. We got to get going and get the law of the first deal. And we just got to get out there, take action, and find the first deal, and understand that, if we don't have the right environment around us or the right associates around us to kind of pour into us, to help us become successful, then we got to seek those people out and align with the right organizations, the right groups, the right conferences, seminars, in order to take it to the next level. I remember, me attending Jake and Gino's event back in 2019. And that was my first time ever going to a commercial real estate conference. And it blew my mind away of how close I actually was to achieving my goal of being able to, buy an apartment building, because I had limiting beliefs that you got to have millions of dollars in order to buy apartment buildings. And so that was the thing that kind of got me going as a multifamily investor. I submitted my first LOI 45 days later on my 18 unit that we bought in Panama City. And, we closed, with about 5 months after that, in the middle of after COVID had kicked off. And it's just the grace of God, but you got to take action and get started.
I love it. I love it, what you said. And I say that a big proponent of taking action. I mean, we could read books, we could listen to, just like you said, podcasts, go to seminars, seminar after seminar. It doesn't do any good unless we really hunker down and take action. You got to really be willing to take action and overcome fear. I think the fear of first deal is so prominent. I remember when I bought 14 units, in my case, for $180,000 only, we were just still, thinking, hey, that is a lot of money at that time, right? So everybody's got to start with that first deal. And that's what we can take away from this episode, is that you got to take action. You got to really, immerse yourself. And after seminar, 45 days later, you put LOI. We've got to put LOIs. And now in 2023, there'll be so many opportunities coming, and they are there. As people will not be able to afford at high interest rate and all, but if you are able to get good interest rates and so on and make deal work, then jump in there at the smaller level, as low as 5 units or 6 or 10, 15 units, but you got to get started, isn't it? Right. And look at that. Now you're going into the next and the next. And, so the Panama City is a beautiful place, by the way. So that property is doing well. Yeah.
It is. We went full cycle on it. June of last year, at the 2-year anniversary, we refinanced and cashed out. And it's performing phenomenal.
I love it. No, thank you so much. Thank you, Johnny, for joining. And how can people reach you, bro?
Yeah, most definitely. Johnny Lynham on LinkedIn, and they can go to my website, johnnylynham.com. And just see all the things that we have going on and deals that we have coming up, and my REI Genius community that we launched a couple months ago. We're just educating investors that's looking to invest, whether single family or multifamily.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much for joining and sharing these great nuggets, and God bless you. And maybe one day we'll meet again like we met before. I think
most definitely.
And that's exciting. That's very exciting. All right, guys, if you like the content, please share, give 5-star reviews, written reviews also, and look forward to this contest. Actually, $1,000 Vinny's going to be giving out in the raffle and other things that we are putting together. My team is putting together for giving, my books that I've written and podcast shows and the live shows I do twice a week now. Actually, Abundance Mindset with Vinny Chopra and Walter, my partner. And then that's on Thursday morning, 9 a.m. And then on Fridays morning, 9 a.m., my new show time, which is Vinny and Bo Show, which is also on real estate and loans and everything. But thank you for joining. And thank you so much, Johnny, for coming on. Brother, thank you so much.
Awesome.
You bet.
Thank
Thank you again, for joining Vinny Chopra this week on this podcast. And please subscribe, share, give comments, and give 5-star rating if you can on iTunes, because that really helps a lot for us to bring great guests. And also iTunes raises our rankings up. And I hope you have been very happy with Vinny Chopra and team, who are able to bring great information. If you'd like to invest with us, please go ahead and go to vinnychopra.com/invest. Thanks again. God bless you.